to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Actually, as hot as it's been out, I feel a little chilly with that blowing over the fence. Don't touch it.
You want me to throw it away from you?
No, it's fine.
All right.
It's fine. No, I'm just being a little sarcastic or smart. June looking at me over here like, don't you touch that.
No, do you need it? We can shut it down.
No, I'm only kidding. I have the minutes of the June 13th meeting. Anyone would like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept them.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Thank you. I have a letter which I passed on to our attorney. I think probably everybody here has been down to Mindock Park, and you realize that there's a flagpole, mounting pipes and bases, and 2 propellers that were used during 9/11 evacuation of New York City. They belong to the, I always have trouble pronouncing his name, but we'll call it Gillette family. On that day, that family themselves, with the father as a tugboat captain, evacuated more than 8,000 people. So what he's asking is that if we ever lose the park, if the park ever gets closed down, or if it gets turned over to someone else, they would like the propellers, the mounting pipes, and the flagpole and its base returned to them. So I asked the attorney to draw up an agreement between us and them stating so. I received a letter from a gentleman on Mine Road. I won't read the whole letter, but he's complaining about speeding on Mine Road. And we got to do something before there's a bad accident. He wants the speed limit to be 20 miles per hour, which those who know we can't make it less than 30 miles an hour. Correct, Chief? And he brings up that the part of firefighters from Brooks's Park to 9W is 20 miles an hour. But that belongs to the Palisades Park Commission, and they can do what they want with their property. So anyway, he's also talking about the people tossing garbage out of their windows. Now, if he has some miracle way to stop people from doing that, I'm sure all of the roads in New York State or in the United States would love to know how to do it, because there's no roads that lazy slobs don't throw out stuff out their windows. The one thing that is kind of sad is when you get people hike up to the top of the mountain there, and they carry up a gallon or a couple quarts of water. They drain the water up and so they drink the water on top of the mountain and leave the bottles up there. You already brought up a heavy bottle. Well, why don't you bring the empty bottle back down? But that's what they do. And hellhole, which I've never seen.
You're gonna come with me next time.
Hellhole is, I guess, is a dirty mess. You were there on the day he was complaining that a whole bunch of trash was put out. I don't know what we can do about that. Again, that's Palisades Park Commission. If they want something done about it, they need to do it. So anyway, we okay, financial reports. I transferred $72,909 from the consolidated account to accounts payable. DNK received $5,748 for repairs at the ambulance police building. Global Montel for diesel fuel, $4,295. Kevin Patton, Corbin Hills water tank borings and reports, $6,897. Excuse me. Our legal fees, $7,964. State Comptroller for fines and fees collected by the court, $7,992. Lankin Tully for fire inspections and water tank engineering, $7,073. Reports from the liaisons. We'll start with Councilman DeWitt.
Thank you, Supervisor Livesey. Happy to report, nothing much to be said this week. I yield my time to Mr. Sullivan.
I started with you because I know he's going to take a long time. So.
There
Everybody's
must be in
quiet.
some kind of trouble here for this to happen.
Did everybody read the report that he made to the village
Yes,
on water?
very good job.
That is an excellent report. It
Well, it's
really
pretty
is.
comprehensive. It covered most. I have a fairly good memory. I've been here a long time. So is it my turn to do my thing here?
It is now, since
Okay.
you took over.
All right. Well, so I'm going to report first on the sewer. So last Saturday, the 23rd, there was a report that the Overlook Pump Station was on alarm. I had Rob Runge come in. He was there within about 45 minutes. When we got to the station, we cleared it and everything was fine. I just want to thank him for coming in on short notice, and it was hot. You can imagine being in a sewer pump station on a hot day, just how much fun that is. The monthly flow DMR discharge monitoring report for the month of June, we had 3.3 inches of rain. The plant averaged 78,000 gallons per day, which is a little bit low because it was dry and low use. But during that report, also, I don't read these off a lot, the biochemical oxygen demand, which is a measure of how healthy your plant is operating, along with suspended solids, both achieved 99% removal. The plant has been odor-free in this hot weather for the most part. They made it a point to do that before that dancing under the stars, so it wouldn't ruin the event. And next Friday, Jimmy, I'm going to try and take the day off to be there. I want to go over his budget with him, and he's going to be running the belt press. If you care to go down, he'll be operating the sludge press down there next Friday. But the Zoning Board of Appeals spoke with Jack General just the other day. They did not meet for the month of July. There was an applicant challenging our R1 zoning of a property on Mine Dock Road. Said applicant has paid his escrow fee, hasn't asked for a return yet. I'm not sure if he's going to proceed forward with some other variance or interpretation. So if he does, I'll next meeting read off that they'll be meeting in August if they do. Planning Board. I attended a Planning Board meeting here last Thursday at Town Hall. I did a little bit dangerous. I made a small Facebook post letting people know that the hearing was going to be here. Everybody seems to have a lot of concern about that 341 Main Street and the things going on. The Facebook people weren't here, but 8 residents were. And those residents, some of them reside up there. And so basically that restaurant is proposing to get their deliveries by going up Cousins, Church, Tobin's into O'Neill, which is a residential area. Their comments were made at the planning board meeting. The planning board heard those comments. The very astute group of gentlemen, and I know that they'll consider the comments as they go forward, they did close the public hearing. So that kind of starts a clock ticking, unless the applicant says we'll give you more time. I don't know if it's 62 days. I'm not sure how that starts that time frame. In the building department, I spent some time with Phil last week. Every few weeks I'm going into his office and we're going over files, and we're sharing some of those files with our private sector CEO, BSI gentleman, John O'Rourke from Lankin Tully. That's working out well. There were a great deal of emails exchanged with this demolition up the road. And I just want to explain, you know, so you have the building department is town, and there's been 2 meetings up there before the demolition involving everybody. Every attorney, every engineer, every DPW person, maybe not Pat. I'm not sure if you went up to any of those meetings with Phil and whatnot. So it was well scouted out before anything happened. And then you have residual concerns to close out the account, like the sidewalks. There's a chip here and a chip there. What we go through to try and get everybody together, because Philip only has so much control, it's a village sidewalk, which means either Johnny Jones or Todd Atkins and whatnot. So that's underway toward being resolved. And I just want to say I support Philip fully, because he does everything he can with the jurisdiction that he has to move that project forward. Last week, some of the moves we made in Town Hall, Gabby couldn't be here for the full week last week for reasons probably everybody can figure out. She was able to work from home successfully. If you dial extension 316, it goes right to her phone. She's on duty doing her thing, and she has access to the computer remotely. So that has worked out rather well. With the water districts, at the last village board meeting, Trustee Howard expressed an interest in knowing just what the town is up to in regard to water use. The water use now and in the future, with data that is just slightly below the engineering level, I sent everybody on the town board and everybody in village board a very comprehensive review of the history of water in the town, the current use and projected use for the future. We currently have an agreement with the village of Highland Falls for 150,000 gallons a day, which has been amended 9 times if I'm not mistaken. So I sent that out. I got a couple of responses. It was pretty thorough. So I think everybody now should know just what we have and just what we project that we're going to need when the water district is built out. And once that's done, we're out of water. There's only 150,000 gallons a day. That's as far as we're going to go. The history, I told Ronnie she wants to meet with me to go over her budget packet next week, which she will, and I'm not sure what our next events are for the 150th anniversary of the town of Highlands. She talked about possibly having a pub crawl in Fort Montgomery. What's left? You and you and
You could probably,
Barnstormers?
you could probably crawl.
Okay, I mean, so we're working on that. Oh, and an event I was involved in. I would like to speak for a moment about an event that occurred on Sunday, July 17th on the Hudson River. I'd gone kayaking. I saw the supervisor before I went down toward Owen Island, and after turning around, I came back and went into Popolopan Creek as far up as Hellhole, which I do frequently. I like to take pictures of a blue heron up there that swipes down toward me, doesn't like me, and after spending a few minutes, I came back out, and as I headed back toward Mine Dock Park, there were 7 or 8 emergency vehicles parked there. I don't want to miss anybody. And as I was coming forward, there's some pretty strong eddy currents alongside where the railroad tunnel is at. I was approached by the Fort Montgomery pontoon boat with Jimmy Kilgore and Lee Steinwitz, and Jimmy asked me, he said, "Richie, are you a kayaker in distress?" And I told him, aside from world affairs, I don't really have too much distress. I'm like, kayaking, that's fine. So apparently 2 people had capsized, seen from the end of Oakwood. They originated from Garrison, and the current took them all the way down just about to the trestle at Owen Island. So between Ryan was there, the ambulance corps, the West Point Fire Department, the Highland Falls Fire Department, the Fort Montgomery Fire Department, Bear Mountain Police, Town of Highlands Police, probably missing somebody, the Town of Highlands Police, and they were all there. Just want to compliment them. They did retrieve these 2 people who I think refused medical treatment. Don't know if they got their kayaks back. They just did excellent work. And while I wasn't in distress, it's really nice to know that if I were, that they're there. And I'll only mention to people, if you're going to kayak on the Hudson, you better be prepared for it. It's not quite like going onto a lake, you know.
Did anyone call and ask if you were okay?
You did.
Oh, okay.
So that's my report, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay.
Actually, before we go to Ty, sorry to jump in. I should have mentioned that we did have a phone call, a quick meeting with the new garrison commander at West Point, Colonel Bianchi, who was also on the phone with Eric Mitchell, who runs a lot of the IGSA programs out of there. And we really was just, introducing each other. And, we were hoping to, again, build communications and relationships with our neighbors. And and all kinds of things could be coming on the table. I know talking about Long Pine more down the road and a bunch of other things, but, you know, at least the door is open and
It was a very friendly chat.
very friendly chat.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman
White.
King?
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. I will not be as detailed as my colleague over here to my right. I have a few notes. I'll start with emergency management, and the big issue under that directorate is obviously we're in the midst of a heat wave, and so cooling stations were discussed all the way to the county level that I know of. One of the things that we like to ask our counterparts down at the village, if they haven't already done so, if they're not considering it, to take a look at using the senior center as a cooling station, as long as we have these extreme temperatures. Now, that said, we here at the town, if somebody for whatever reason felt like they were in distress and they walked past the town of Highlands, I'm sure that they wouldn't have a problem getting in here and getting cooled off and getting some AC. But just know that up here, the chairs are not as comfortable. And so we just want to put that out there. But certainly it should be considered under these conditions to be an emergency situation. Secondly, Senior Center. I had a visit with them last week while they were just wrapping up a visit from the Office of the Aging at the county. And one of the things I observed is that, you know, we have to commend some folks, because over the past few years we had a lot of talk about the senior center and should be done this and that should be done and all these other things. But I'm here to tell you that when I go there and consistently see that they are having programs, they are having an increase in attendance, and people seem generally happy when they're there. So I gotta say that to Chris Burns, who's the president of the Highlanders, Olga, Robert, and all the other folks on the team that helped get that environment to the point where it is right now. Congratulations, great job. But along those lines as well, Ms. Ann Molina and the center do a great job booking programs and trips and so forth. So I think together we've created an environment where our seniors are really having a better quality of life. That's my opinion. Got the National Night Out coming up on August 2nd, which is a Tuesday. It's 5 p.m. And as you know, that's one of the fun times of year when the police officers come out and they do a lot of fun stuff with the community. What you should take note of this year is that we should have a joint effort between the town of Highlands and the Highland Falls Police Department. Although this year will be in the village, the plan is for next year to be in Fort Montgomery as a rotating basis, but both departments working together. So that is a caveat on what my colleague here said about the effort out there on the lake with the kayaks, or the river that is. You saw something that has been cultivated for a little while. I think between the two chiefs and all the officers, they've started really, really working well together. So my hat's off to you there. And see, I told you I'd be a lot shorter than this guy over here on the right, so that's all I got.
Since we're talking about that, I'm hoping that the outgoing chief will be there.
I'll actually be in Cleveland representing the National Academy at a conference.
What?
But it will be in good hands. I represent the New York Eastern Canada chapter, and I will be in Cleveland, Ohio that night. But I have talked to Chief Dryer. I think everything's set in good ways. And I understand, and I don't know how true it is, but Frank Conceal had volunteered to be in the Duncan booth. I heard that. So I just don't know if it's true. But if, so you can make that an executive order if you like. And I think that would make my night.
Only if I get first toss.
Oh, okay.
When do you actually leave, Chief?
I leave Friday, so I'll, even though at midnight I'm technically retired again, but I'll be giving her a week with some things for Frank to do.
Okay, so you got a couple of days to wrap some things up?
Oh, yes, sir, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that works. Joe and I Councilman DeWitt and I met with the Town of Highlands Employee Association attorney. He gave us an agenda that he wanted us to look at, and it was an introductions. Obviously, we said hello to each other and who we were, and I thought he was coming with the president of the union, but he came by himself because he wanted to meet with us first. On his agenda, it said review of current status of outstanding grievances. Well, I made a point to him that as far as the highway department goes, there are no grievances, formal grievances, because in order to have a grievance, and it's right in the agreement, that they have to do it in writing. It has to go to the highway superintendent. If they're not happy with the result from the highway superintendent, in writing, it goes to the town board. So as far as I'm concerned, there are no formal grievances. There are a few people that are unhappy with certain things, and we did talk about that. Among those things is the contractual issues on holiday pay. We talked about it, and I showed him what I have, and at the end of the meeting, he wanted to know if I was willing to but how did he put it? Change my mind?
Oh, to have a discussion.
Have a discussion about it, and I made it clear to him I wasn't. So that's where we ended that meeting. But it was a good hour. I mean, it was a productive meeting. I think he got to know who we were, the fact that we, at least myself, and I'm not taking this away from Joe, he's been with us for a year now.
Who?
You.
7 months.
7 months, and I've been with us 18 years, so I think I'm impressed on him that hey, I kind of know what I'm doing. And so anyway, that was our meeting with the attorney. I haven't heard anything more back. He asked permission to call Justin. He hasn't called Justin. So that's where we left that. We did get a nice email from Richard Jersey saying that he's done. He has no more problems with us. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. Am I saying it right? He's happy. I don't know if he's happy. I don't think he's ever happy, but it's okay. Yeah. We had. I was puzzled when I got these things. It's 2 inspections of our dog control officer and shelter. When I'm reading them, I'm looking at the same day, and one was everything was good, and the other one, a few things were bad. So then I finally saw a shelter on top and an officer on it, and oh, okay, now I know what's going on. So anyway, our dog control officer got all yeses. She's fine. Our dog control building got some no's. Well, without going, but basically that was it. There were certain repairs that have to be done. So right away, and thanks to Pat, we got together with Mr. McCarthy, and he is going to fix everything down there that needs to be fixed. Right, Pat?
Oh, yes.
He's going to put a new roof on the building, fix some rafters, supply new ones, install plywood, new drip edge, all this stuff. I don't have to go through that, but he's going to bring us up to what we're supposed to do. So that'll be taken care of, Chief. That'll be taken care of ASAP. Okay, I have a proposal from Specialty Hearse and Ambulance Sales Company. Bottom line is from theirs that the price that was supposed to be $65,000 has gone up now to $68,348. we don't have any place to get that extra 3,000 and change from. The 65,000 is a grant. Then I got an email from Jeff Gathers, the captain, and he says, as far as the fly car goes, it will be below or at the required 65,000. So that's where we're at. The captain has proposed a new EMT for hire. Kelly, do you have the name and?
Miles McBrail.
Miles McBrail. Never mind, you wrote it for me. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice, but he is an EMT. He's off of the list from the county.
Correct.
So I'm going to ask permission to hire Miles McBrail at $17.12 per hour as a part-time EMT with maximum probation.
Motion.
And a motion, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. I read the letter from the resident on Mine Torn Road. I'm going to discuss the police chief later. We have a member of the highway department, part-time, Donald Smith. I have a letter of resignation from Donald. He's no longer able to continue his part-time status as a mechanic with the town of Highlands. The highway superintendent would like us to consider James Kildor as a part-time mechanic at the same rate of pay. James is pre-approved with the Orange County and willing to start as soon as possible. So I'll ask for a motion to hire James Kilgore as part-time mechanic with the same rate of pay.
Advisor, I think you have to do the resignation first.
Okay. I ask for a motion to accept Donald Smith's resignation.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you. Now let's see if we can hire James Kilgore as part-time mechanic at the same rate of pay as Donald Smith. James pre-approved by Orange County. Like to start as soon as possible. Like to start him with 1-year probation.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you. Thank you, June. As you know from the last meeting, we have an intern working on clean energy. Would you read this report?
I'd be happy to. This is regarding Erica Affronti, Clean Energy Intern. In week 2, she made an interview format with the help of Kat Carroll, the Hudson Valley Clean Energy Coordinator, and did some research on grants outside of the CEC actions. She started interviews in week 3. She interviewed the controller, town clerk, court clerk, and had a brief discussion of plans with the building department supervisor. She also learned some helpful information through the interviews. That being so far, the town has a unified solar permit that has not been credited for this CEC action. There are ongoing plans for town hall, new roof and water tank project. Priorities for the next 1 and 5 years for the town is the sewer project. The town is taking steps towards community choice aggregation. This CCA action is worth 1,500 points. This means 3,000 point milestone is in our reach. 3,000 points opens up a $10,000 grant when we get there. A common concern for the town hall building is the inefficient heating and cooling, which is off, as well as old leaky windows. In week 3, she met with Kat Carroll to discuss interviews and to see what can add to the interview format for specific departments. And she said her goals is schedule more interviews, get the information needed to complete the unified solar permit action, and retrieve the last pieces of information needed to complete advanced benchmarking action. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any questions on this young lady? No.
No, she also approached Jimmy down at the sewer plant. She's getting footprint measurements of all the pump stations for some of what she's working on. So on Saturday when I met Rob Runge, and I said, I'll see you later, she says, I got to stay here and measure for Erica. So she's doing her job.
Good. Very good. Very good. I have a letter. There's one vacancy on the Assessment Board of Review, and the vacancy is until September the 3rd, 2024. I have a letter from Alyssa McCarthy asking to be considered for appointment to the Board of Assessment Review. She's lived in town for 35 years. Her husband is the Carpenter McCarthy construction business. She's assisted with paperwork such as created estimates, proposals, final costs, etc. My husband and I have built 2 new houses for personal use. We've sold 2 houses, which has educated me with the knowledge of the housing market and property values. She's worked at Sacred Heart Jesus School as secretary. She works as secretary in Washingtonville. Buildings and Grounds Department includes purchasing materials for repair and or replacement or preventive maintenance and the like within the district. It's numerous buildings. And since living in Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery, I know the community very well. We have the vacancy. I don't know if you'd like to act on this tonight or...
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Whoever transmits it to her, she has certain training she needs from the county on June or whoever will do that, or Jean. So
I'm sure
that's-
Jean will, but
Yeah.
this came through Jean.
Came through Gene, yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm sure everybody in the room here is aware that our chief, this is his last day. By the way, before we get to that part, is anybody, public comment? I skipped that whole thing. Any public comment?
Did you want to talk about the low-income housing payment?
I did. You talk about it.
Okay, sure. So, the town of Highlands is enrolled in through New York State, it's called the Low-Income Housing Water Assistance Program, where residents can get assistance if they were having trouble paying their water or their sewer bills. I got the town enrolled probably back in March, I'm thinking, and we finally got our first person who took advantage of the program, and the state paid their water bill in full for them.
And how much was that water bill?
$1,179.70.
Now, this is a person in low-income housing, outside of the village. I keep saying that because we had to enroll into this program as a town. The village can also enroll in it. But if you're within a certain annual wage group and you're considered low income, then you can put in for your delinquent sewer bills and water bill. This person here here's $1,000, we'll pay your bill. It's the only one I've announced this at a number of meetings. Mm-hmm. It's on our website.
Right.
So if anybody's interested in saving a good buck, go to our website, get the information you need to apply for it.
That's right.
Okay. Obviously, if we're losing a chief, we need a chief. And I'm kind of torn between which of these 2 things I'm going to do first. but we'll promotion. The keyword promotion qualifications for a police chief. Candidates must be permanently employed in the competitive class or allocated to the non-competitive class in accordance with Section 55A of Civil Service Law in the town of Highlands, and must have served continuously on a permanent basis for 1 year in the title of Deputy Police Chief. And he has to have a New York State driver's license. So we have a deputy police chief that is qualified to be promoted to police chief. We have a need for a police chief. So therefore, I would like to ask for a motion to promote Frank Bastille to Chief of Police, Town of Highlands, at the salary schedule indicated, and I would like to put him on a 12-week probation.
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
I'll third
All in
it.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chief? You're gonna be chief, you gotta learn how to speak.
Well, I don't need the timer. I want to thank you very much for putting your trust in me. I want to thank Chief Pieri for bringing me here so I could have this opportunity, and I will definitely not disappoint you. Just want to say, but we might as well move on to the vacating police chief while I'm here.
We will.
His wife dragged me into teaching dare 100 years ago. And then I got dragged into teaching at the police academy by the academy director. And well, he continued his job and dragged me down here, which I've enjoyed for the last, I don't know, year and a half-ish. And I appreciate it. I want to thank you for bringing me down here. Very welcome. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, Frank, chief? Not you.
The other Frank.
This is it. Yes, sir. This is it. I don't have a big speech prepared. I was supposed to have a little presentation, and that didn't come through on time. That's why I asked you if you're going to be at the we'll take care of that. Because if you're going to go to Newburgh and you're going to have an office, we need something on that wall in the town of Highlands. I appreciate that. So let that happen. Is there anybody here that wants to talk about that?
There we go. It's an argument or talk, I'm just curious.
No. Mine's down in the middle.
Are we on here?
So, yeah, so Mary Jane can take a photo.
All right. I don't need the microphone, everyone can hear me. Hey, I'm Officer Hill, and work with the chief now for 5 years. He's been a great guy to me. He's really helped me out a lot. He's taught me a lot. Being guy to eye always, because that's just what happens, but he's always been there for me whenever I need him. And that's what's important for me. He helped us do a lot of things in the community. He supported all the community events that the PBA did. Anytime we needed something, needed a car, needed time, needed help picking something up, he was there for us. And that says a lot when it comes up, what we do for this community. So we got the chief, a little something to hang on his wall in his office.
There you go. There you go.
Guys, back up over here so Mary Jane can get that picture.
We got this, so you can remember us. All right, chief? Oh.
Thank you. We're gonna, you just hang in here. We got you for another 4 hours.
Before I guess to get back to work, Chief Perry, when you came into the town of Highlands, I was here already. We didn't have a maintenance program for police cars. I told you what my plan was. I told you how I wanted to expedite it. You backed me up. I told you back when you came here that that white car was junk, to get a new one. And what did you tell me? No, 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 my police officers come first. I don't know if they know that. Your frame has been rotted on your car. It's coming out of service tomorrow. Because Frank Perry is getting that car is coming off of the road. I applaud from my end of it, I applaud your money-saving aspect for the town of Highlands. You and I had a great working relationship, and it's been a great run for us. And I appreciate everything you've done for me, my department. You know how good we work together. And thank you, and best of luck to you. And I'll see you.
Town board, you got something to say to our departing chief?
Well, I said a little something at the last meeting that I have had many very wonderful conversations with the chief. I'll very much miss them. I'm kind of in the New Windsor area once in a while, so I think I'll see him around from time to time. But I just want to thank you. You were very respectful to me as a town board member, and I hope I reciprocated that to your liking. And I just appreciated working with you. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just echo my colleague's sentiments and once again would say that it was a pleasure to be the liaison for the number of years that we've worked together, and just proud to have served with you and wish you all the best as you go forward into your next role, and I hope you get still a lot of sunshine down in South Carolina.
Somewhere,
Take care, Chief.
somehow.
God bless.
Well, I'm the new guy around here, obviously, and I'm happy to say that before I became councilman, I didn't have any run-in with you at all, which is probably a miracle. But in the short time, and obviously hearing all the great things, and you've heard me say it before, and I always will go back to the day of my cousin Ray Mazaris' passing, and I don't mean to be a broken record, Chief, but the warmth as a person, a new friend in the town, and your professionalism as a police officer that day, everything that you did for me is something I will never forget. And it just goes to show that's how you do police work. That's how you do human being. And I will always remember you for that. And so a personal note for me, and in the short time I've been in this position, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, and good luck. And I will, hopefully you'll never do patrol in New Windsor or Newburgh, and I won't run into you up there as well. But I'll find you too. Thank you. And congrats.
I know the chief has made life easier for you and your department.
Absolutely, Frank. It's been a pleasure. You were so detail-oriented in your budget, money conscious. You called me every day. I'll miss getting the phone calls from
I'll put him
you.
on.
You'll call me. And, it was a pleasure working with you. And you'll be
Likewise.
missed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I guess I would, so,
Stop much.
yeah, 111.
I'm going.
So, again, I thank you all for your kind words. I thank you for the opportunity to be here. I thank Mr. Lizzie for talking me out of leaving 75 times within the last 4 years, probably, right? A couple of people that are here that weren't here last week, obviously Pat and Tiffany. You're right, we had a good working relationship. I thank Tiffany for all her hard work. We told Pat in there once in a while. Obviously, Fran is here, my secretary, and nothing could get done without Fran being there. Obviously, my wife and my son are here. My daughter had to work, but I thank you for the opportunity. I really do. 5 years is a short time, but when the police chief's role, sometimes it's almost double. And I have had great arguments with Brandon, but we always left it at the end like, hey, listen, nothing personal, right? And then he would come in the office, say, hey, we off the record? I'm like, all right, sit down, what's up? But I appreciate the work the PBA has done and the officers done here in the community. I think we made it better than what it was, and I'm sure Frank will make it better than what he found it. So I applaud you, I thank you for being part of it, and I thank you all.
Thank you.
for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So carried. We're going to hang in here with the chief. I think we have a piece of cake about this big that we're going to share.